Cult has now released their December 2024 financials, and there is some really good information in this financial report. We have more information on their investments than we've ever had. Shout out to Steve Vannery, their Chief Financial Officer. This is a great financial document. Really appreciate the work that he's been doing. Before we get into the cult financials, if you've lost any money on your cult investment, comment below, join the club. All my projections so far have been based on just information that I've been able to dig up. Some of them have been just me guessing things, and now we actually have their full fair value numbers and the percentage of holdings, and everything's in one table, and it's clear and it's easy to read. They've done a really good job with this. So a couple things stand out. For Beef Tech, Eat Just, Wild Bio, Evolution, Compound Foods, Cella Foods, Piquish, Alchemy, and Further Foods, there is no valuation. So their total valuation for all of their investments in 2024 is $1 million less than it was in 2023. So I want to go through each of these companies and look at what has changed. For Apelia, they haven't sold the company. The company is still doing well. As for the increase in the valuation from 429,000 to 467,000, that's based on exchange rate changes. For Beef Tech, they were one of the companies that now doesn't have any valuation. So there were no triggering events like for this conversion of the SAFE agreement, but the fair value is now zero. And that was just under 400,000 a year ago. To recap, a SAFE agreement is a investment agreement between Cult Food Science and this startup. And the decrease is because the company wasn't able to secure any new funding in 2024, and Cult was not able to obtain sufficient financial and operational information to evaluate the financial health of Beef Tech or determine a valuation. So right now they're marking that as zero. For De Novo Foods, there were no triggering events for that SAFE. They're still operating. The increase from last year to this year is because of favorable movement in exchange rates. For eJust, they were moved till nil, and that is a result of a decrease in prices on the private markets and a lack of liquidity on those markets for eJust common shares. Personally, I'd argue there is still value there, but if Cult Food Science wants to write that off, that is good to know. For Fiction Foods, there were no triggering events for the conversion of the SAFE. It increased due to exchange rates. Now, personally, I have not seen any news whatsoever about Fiction Foods since 2021, so I'm a little bit skeptical of this investment. I personally would write it to zero in my own valuation, but interesting to see that Cult Food Science hasn't, so maybe they know something that we don't. For Gelitech, during 2023, the SAFE was converted to just over 20,000 shares at a price per share of $3.69. Then December 2024, that fair value was $287,000. So the increase in fair value is due to Gelitech successfully closing SAFE investments during the year ending in 2024 at a $40 million post-money valuation cap, which exceeded the $15 million cap used in the previous financing. I'm a little bit confused by this one because it implies that there was another investment round, at least from how I'm reading it, in 2024. I haven't seen any news about a fundraising round in 2024, just that 2023 August round. That's been one of their success stories. With Millie Bio, there was no triggering event, but the increase in the fair value was due to Millie Bio successfully closing investments during the year ending December 31st at a $32 million post-money valuation cap, which exceeded the $29 million used in Cult's investment. So Cult has not exited that investment, but the new investment has raised the valuation for their investment. For Wild Bio, again, Cult couldn't determine the value of the company, they did not receive any more funding in 2024, and so their valuation is now 0. Novel Farms, their valuation is up because of exchange rates. Umami Bioworks, in 2024, they merged with Shiok Meats, right? We covered this previously. That valued the merged entity at $68 million. In conjunction, the Cult Safe agreement was converted into 17,500 shares. In 2024, the Umami investment of those shares is valued at just over $706,000. California Cultured completed financing at a 24.4 million pre-money valuation, and their safe that Cult had originally invested in was converted into almost 51,000 preferred shares. And so the fair value of the company's investment was $151,000. For Change Foods, the increase was due to the exchange rates. Same for Unicorn Technologies. For Vevolution, this one's interesting because they just got acquired by a VC firm, Big Idea Adventures. We've covered them before. Cult originally had a $46,000 investment via a unsecured convertible note, which had an interest rate of 2% and matured on February 4th, 2024. In 2024, that was converted into 87 shares. So as of December 2024, their investment was 0, but actually we've now saw Vevolution was just acquired, and so that should have brought some income to Cult Food Science. In the next financial report, we should see that. Compound Foods is nil because they didn't secure any new funding in 2024. Same with Celis Systems. Same for Piquish. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Same for Alchemy. And then Further Foods. During the year, Cult Food Science was deemed to have acquired a 90% interest stake in Further Foods. In relation to this acquisition, management determined that the acquisition met the definition and criteria to be classified as a business combination. Accordingly, under some regulations, the company measured the assets acquired and liabilities assumed at their estimated fair values. Basically, there's a loss of the acquisition of about $500,000. And we can see that here now. Loss on consolidation of Further Foods. We're at $447,000. Now if we go into the management commentary, majority of the operations of the 90% subsidiary are carried out in the United States. As of December 31st, Further Foods had $3,000 in cash, inventories of $8,000, accrued liabilities of $40,000, and a note payable of $346,000. The fair value of the company's investment in Further Foods was 0. The cost of the company's investment in Further Foods was $1.2 million. So they have a loss of $1.2 million. The decrease in the value was due to Further Foods not meeting its sales projections in 2024 and thus creating uncertainty around its ability to meet future sales projections. As of December 19, 2024, Further Foods has not achieved profitability and was reliant on its ability to restructure debt and raise new capital, the outcome of which is uncertain. In the event that they are not able to raise new capital, they will not be able to continue operations. So this is Noochies. They have had sales. They haven't been as strong as we had hoped. And so basically at this point, Cult has written off $1.2 million for Further Foods. So that's where the company is. We're now trading at all-time lows of 2 cents. This is the business model, guys. We invested, we lost money, and that's not really a big surprise considering how speculative this all is. So this is my last video on Cult. I have entered a new position, small position of about 1,000 shares, just because I want to see if my trading thesis will play out. So bought at 2 cents, maybe we'll sell at between 10 and 40 cents if we get back up there. We'll see what happens. Thanks as always for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.